everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news. Is the Jadon Sancho transfer to Manchester United over? Is it game over? Well, if it is game over, insert £120 million to continue, because that's always been the price to play this game. But updates on Jadon Sancho from multiple sources, including James Cooper, who's been on the show, Manchester United correspondent. We'll also be talking about Sergio Reguilon. Fabrizio Romano is expecting a bid. Sevilla have bought a left back, so how close is that deal? But let's start off with Jadon Sancho, because with all due respect to Reguilon, you're not going to be the priority signing. You're not the priority signing, and you're not really a signing that should even be considered to be a good signing at this moment in time, because it's a plaster over an opened wound, and the wound is the Jadon Sancho deal. That is the he's the healer, and what's happening with Jadon Sancho. So, right, first of all, I just want to say that Gareth Bale has been mentioned as part of this as well. Can I just read you something now? I'm going to get this out really, really early, just to shut people up who think Gareth Bale is a good prospect for Manchester United. He's 31. Gareth Bale is 31. He's not played much football in the last 2 years, so to compare his stats to Jadon Sancho would be somewhat unfair. So I tell you what, let's go back to Gareth Bale in a prime year. Let's go back to 2015, when Gareth Bale was in his prime, about 26, 27. Let's compare that to Jadon Sancho last season. They played roughly the same minutes. Pass accuracy, 85% for Jadon Sancho, 78% for Gareth Bale. Goals, 17 for Sancho, 13 for Bale. Assists, 16 for Sancho, 9 for Bale. Dribbles per game, 2.4 for Sancho, 2.1 for Bale. Key passes per game, 2.2 for Sancho, 1.6 for Bale. You start to see a clearer picture here, don't you? That yes, Gareth Bale, comparable to Jadon Sancho in his prime, isn't even as good. So what the bloody hell are we trying to say? That Gareth Bale is better than Jadon Sancho? Let's go and get Gareth Bale on loan. He's on 600k a week. I tell you what, if Manchester United consider getting Gareth Bale, and to be honest, that was mentioned, it was mentioned by James Cooper, then we are not run by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We are not managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We are managed by the board. Because I'll tell you now, there is no way in a million years that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Gareth Bale. Short term, long term, he does not want Gareth Bale, because it goes absolutely against what we've been told for the last 18 months that we've had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He wants younger, hungry, talented players who want to come here for the long term. That is what he wants. So he doesn't want Gareth Bale. Are you still 90% sure, says Ranuk? I am, but let me tell you what's being said. So, James Cooper has said that Manchester United will not be capitulating on this deal. He mentioned Bruno, he mentioned Harry Maguire, and how United said they're going to walk away and then they pay the price that the club wants anyway. He said United want to make it clear that that will not happen this time. Ooh. And then he also said that the deal is not dead yet, but the position is a gloomy one at Manchester United around this deal, and they may well look at loaning an experienced player in and working with a younger player. I mean, I don't know what Manchester United are up to here. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. But can I just say, there's some very telling information that's come out today, and it's all over social media. In the last 5 years, none of the top 6 clubs' owners have taken dividends out of their football club. The Glazers have taken 90 million. In the last 5 years, the Glazers have taken £90 million out of our club, and no other top 6 club has done that. They've not even I think West Brom are the only other club in the Premier League that have taken dividends out of their club. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. And I heard something else today. Manchester United are losing £5 million every game that there's no fans in the ground. Well, you know what? You're paying £2 million a month to Mata and Jones and Romero and co. You're paying £500,000 a week to 2 goalkeepers. We only need 1. So don't start playing the violin about, oh, United are losing money, when our owners have taken £90 million into their back pocket over the last 5 years. You know, we haven't got money because we've got owners who love to pull the plug and suck the money out of the club. So I've got no sympathy for that. This does not come down to COVID-19. This does not come down to money. This comes down to ambition, business or a football club. That's what it comes down to. So let's not try and dress it up any other way. If we walk away from a Jadon Sancho deal, as I've said all along, it sits 100% firmly with the Glazers and their lack of ambition. And if they want to reap that whirlwind, by all means, you go ahead. But I don't think that they will. I don't think they will. Wouldn't Bale's salary be as much as Sancho's fee, says Punnett? He's on 600k a week. We'd probably take him on loan and take half of his wages at 300k a week. Ridiculous. Absolutely. You know, I saw people on social media today saying, oh, Gareth Bale would be a good signing. Gareth Bale would be a disaster signing. It would be a waste of time. It would be banter. It would be short-term, we are a joke football club. I'd rather have James Rodriguez, and he went to Everton. This whole transfer carry-on is pathetic, really. There's no ambition. Won't back Ollie. We're going to start falling even more behind, says Philip Burtonwood. At this moment in time, it does have echoes of Mourinho's last summer, and we all know what happened there. But let me just say, ESPN has also come out and said that Manchester United are concerned that if they don't get Jadon Sancho this summer and they go in for him next summer, they'll face increased competition from the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona and Liverpool. I tell you what'll happen. I wouldn't even worry about the increased competition next year because he won't bloody come. Would you go, you know, if you're Jadon Sancho, would you go to Manchester United next summer when you want to go this summer and they back out because they don't think you're worth it? Would you go to United next summer when Real Madrid or Barcelona or Liverpool come in and say, we're not going to mess you about, we want you? He ain't going to come anyway. And also, would we not need to be in the Champions League next summer to get Jadon Sancho? There's no guarantee we will be. So, I tell you, it's now or never with Jadon Sancho. And Manchester United, if they walk away, which I don't think they will, I still remain confident, but if Manchester United walk away, they will forever be known as the club that bottled signing Jadon Sancho because the Glazers are tight. That's what they'll be. That's the rhetoric. That's the story. Remember, Manchester United PR, Ed Woodward, Communications, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, all of them, whatever they come out and say about us not signing Sancho, if it happens, is all from the top. They pay the wages. So don't think that the Glazers are something and Manchester United's PR team or Ed Woodward or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or anything else. They're all playing the tunes of the Glazers. So remember that when you get sound bites from people about we didn't want Haaland, we didn't want Bellingham. Bollocks. Absolute nonsense. We did want those players and Dortmund absolutely bantered us and took two players that we wanted. Are we going to let them have the hat-trick? Where's the pride in the Manchester United name? Get the bloody deal done. 120 million euros. It's the same bloody price. People are saying it's game over, right? James Cooper said, I said it at the start of the summer and I'll say it again now. I don't think Manchester United will pay £100 million for Jadon Sancho. Well, I tell you what, why have Manchester United been negotiating the deal for the last 3 months then? Why have we done that? Because the deal was always 108 million, 120 million euros. It's always been that. Dortmund, he's got 3 years on his contract. Dortmund don't need to sell. If you want this player, you pay the bloody price. It's as simple as that. So I still think it's going to happen. I still stay in the 90% club. And people can say you're deluded, stupid or whatever. Because I'll tell you why. Because I cannot see how you spend so long on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority signing. Ollie's been in talks with Sancho. Sancho wants to come. The agent and the personal terms are done. Even Fabrizio Romano said it today. United have got to pay the price. Personal terms are done. He's at the door. Open it up and let him in. The only way this won't happen is if we walk away from it. And I just can't understand why you would spend all summer doing that and then think, oh yeah, let's walk away from it. And they cannot dress it up. They can't dress it up. Nobody is going to empathise or sympathise with this situation because it comes down to ambition. Are we an ambitious football club or are we not? And it will come down to that. And I remain totally confident that Manchester United will do this deal. And if they don't do this deal, do not have the audacity to moan at people who said this deal was really close, because it is really close. The blame will have to go with the owners. They're the ones who sign the cheques. They're the ones who set the ambition. It should be us. It should be the fans. But we got bought on debt by people who over the last 5 years have taken £90 million out of this club. They're cheeky sods. They bought this club on debt. They've kept it in debt. Hundreds of millions of pounds over the last 15 years have gone on interest on the debt they bought us on, and they still have the audacity to take £90 million over the last 5 years out of this football club when Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, their owners have taken zero. So don't ever start thinking it's that fan, it's that journalist, it's Ollie's fault. We know where the fault is here. It firmly sits with the owners of this football club for the money they've taken out of this club over 15 years and the lack of ambition they could show. And this, for me, is why they will sign Jadon Sancho, because if they don't, I'm telling you what, There's some very, very fed up Manchester United fans, and they'll have to reap the whirlwind. And do they want to go down that road? There's no spin of PR that they can spin here. I've said it for weeks. There's no spin they can spin. This would be an absolute embarrassment if they don't follow through on a signing of a player who is symbolic. It's a statement signing. He's 20 years of age. He's one of the best players in the world for his age group. He's going to get better. He's well worth the fee. He wants to come to the club. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority signing. And the owners might go, no. Well, I'm telling you what, they should not be owners. Well, I've said it before. They shouldn't be the owners of this football club anyway. But how, as fans, can we sit there and swallow that if they walk away from this deal because of COVID? Bollocks. Bollocks to that. You've took £90 million in dividends. You've put us into hundreds of millions of pounds of debt. And now we're meant to sympathise that you need to save a little bit of money. Give the 90 million back. Give the 90 million back. Why have you took 90 million out of the club? We're in debt. You bought us on debt. Why have you taken £90 million out of this football club? Give it back. If you're so worried about us losing money out of home games, give the money back and let the club grow and be a football club instead of your little play toy. British media clearly briefed by the club today. Wonder why they're still putting briefs out when we know Dortmund won't budge. Just pay the damn money, says Sanjit. The only time, somebody just said it then, at what point would you say you are not confident that Sancho's coming to United? When Jadon Sancho comes out and says he's staying at Dortmund, it's over. That's the only point where I'll say it's over. But I'll go back to what I said this morning. You know what I think we're getting now? I think Manchester United have seen what's going on over the last 2 days. Next 48 hours is crucial. We need him in for the Palace game. I think, personally, and this is the cynic in me, and I've got no evidence to say it, I personally think what's happened here is United have seen all that. They've seen that people are expecting him in for the Palace game, and they've thought, well, it's not going to be for the Palace game. Let's put a bit out there that we're struggling to get a deal done because that'll give us another 2 weeks. I can see this signing happening in the next 3 weeks. But I think what's happening here is it's tempering the expectation. It's slowing down the expectation. How coincidental is it that we're all talking this morning about the next 48 hours being crucial, that they've got to get Jadon Sancho in, otherwise they're not backing the manager. They're sending him into a game ill-prepared for a new season. And I think they've put this out today. I think they've got hold of James Cooper, and I think because James Cooper said he spoke to somebody this morning and they were very gloomy about it. I think this has gone out on purpose to make United fans worry, to make United fans think, oh, it's not going to happen, so that you forget that you want him in for the Palace game and you actually think, oh, we're not getting him at all now. And then in a couple of weeks you'll go, oh, at least we got him. And then you'll think, well, at least we got him in the end. I think this is all about not getting him in for the Palace game because we're going to take a little bit longer. Because the longer we don't pay the money, the more interest we're earning. And don't forget, the share price of United has rocketed recently. So, do you think this could be the PR spin before announcing Sancho just to excite people once the deal would be done, says Manmit? I do. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but I do. Sancho is a no-brainer, especially with other teams coming in for him next summer. Worth every penny considering his age and current potential ability, says Samuel. And 90 million went to buying Tom Brady, says P Toledo 81. How did he do last night? And negativity is already on social media and it will be like a volcano if we don't sign him. Don't think United can afford that negativity again, says Rasmus. And sorry Mark, United lack ambition. This deal is not happening. I hope you prove me wrong. Game over indeed, Mark. I am bleeding, says Mohamed Conte. We'll put a plaster on because it's not over yet. It is not over yet. Mark, completely agree. Pay the money, get it done, says Dylan Ball. And if Sancho doesn't sign, I hope Ed stepped up the security at his house. Not condoning anything, but a house call would be incoming. I don't even blame Ed Woodward. I think it's. I personally think that what happened to his house was a disgrace, and I've said that many a time. I don't blame Ed Woodward. He's an employee at the end of the day. I do feel that. With. Look, I'm trying to get my words out here. I do feel that in relation to Fabrizio Romano, we've got a bit of an update here coming in from United District saying that United were close to reaching a deal for Jadon Sancho in the last days of July. But what I wanted to say was that Ed Woodward's hands are tied to a certain extent. I'm not saying he's very good at dealing with transfers, but what I would say is that he if he's got £100 million from the Glazers, he'll spend it on Sancho. If the Glazers are saying you're not having £100 million, Ed Woodward can't do anything about it. Yes, he's a yes man for the Woodwards. Yes, he's on the for the Glazers. Yes, he's on the payroll. But I don't really think it's fair to put the blame totally on him. I think this totally comes down to the owners. Thiago in and Pogba to Real, all quiet on a new contract. Smalling to Roma, net gain of £100 million despite Donny and Thiago ins equals Glazers bonus for Ed, says Anthony Tracy. Jokes aside, both Yankee owners ruin our great clubs. Arsenal and United lives matter, says Zayn Miasi. And Mark, I think you're reading into it too much. I don't think the board care about what game he's in for. The fact is we won't pay what Dortmund want, says Sean Turner. Welcome to the members club, Jan Perdue. And if we are not getting Sancho, then we need Reguilon and Upamecano and even Thiago, and that's the only way to come out winning in this transfer. No, Ronald, I disagree. You can give me Upamecano, you can give me Thiago, and you can give me Reguilon. That's not Jadon Sancho. We need a right winger. So next season, you think we're going to be okay with Greenwood, Rashford and Martial? We're not. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for a whole season. We will not get anywhere near Liverpool or Man City with that front three. It's got no depth. It puts too much pressure on Rashford, who I don't think's over his injury problems. Mason Greenwood, a lot of pressure on him at the moment, very young lad. So we need Jadon Sancho. Zane Mum wants a card back, says Kendall, and I'm going to... no, you're not. So I'm not reading that out. And Philip Richardson says, serious question, but what will it take for the fans to buy the club off the Glazers like the way Barca is owned by the fans? I think that day is gone, Philip Richardson. I think it's gone. I don't think we'll ever be able to get the club back in the hands of the fans, unfortunately. But no, look, in summary, there's a lot of negative stuff come out about Jadon Sancho today. My feeling is, and it's just a feeling, is I still remain 90% sure he's coming to the club. I still remain totally confident. I don't think there's a level of naivety to that because I've always said nothing's going to drop me down from this deal unless Jadon Sancho comes out and says that he's staying. If he says he's staying, it's over. That's the only thing that will make me think it's over. He wants to come to the club. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority. We've spent the last 3 months trying to get him. Fabrizio Romano has said literally today that Manchester United were very close to a deal for Sancho at the end of July. So, look, it's there to be done. The only reason it won't be done is because the Glazers are going to, want more dividends out of the club, so they don't want to spend money on players. We're a bloody football club run by American people who know nothing about our football club, who just want to make money out of the club. And anybody who says to me, you're being unfair there, £89 million they've taken out of this club in the last 5 years, while no other owner in the top six has done that. And yet they are moaning about paying for a player that is worth every penny, that is a statement signing, that improves us massively, and they are basically, I don't even know how Manchester United fans sit there and aren't furious, because I'm furious. I don't know how people aren't furious about this, that we are still going into a new season yet again, like many other seasons, without the players the managers need, because these owners, and you can say it till you're blue in the face, everybody's said it for ages, we're not progressing as a football club because literally, we are being run by blood-sucking profit mongers who just want to take money out of the club. They don't even support the club. They do now because they own it, but they didn't. They're not Manchester United fans. They bought us on debt and they take money out of the club. And the reason... can you imagine what Manchester United Football Club would have been over the last 15 years if we'd just been bought by somebody who didn't put us into debt and wanted us to be successful? Like the amount of money that's been taken out of that club from interest on a debt that we never deserved. We're in debt because we were bought by people who put us into debt. We weren't in debt when they bought us. They put us into debt to buy the club. How was that ever allowed? How can that be allowed? It's like somebody buying Disney. Like Disney, as far as I know, Disney makes money, right? Or Netflix. Let's say Netflix. Netflix makes money, right? It's like me going up to Netflix and saying, I'll buy it off you for $2 billion. And then Mr. Bank Manager, can I have a £2 billion loan? Yes, of course you can. So I bought Netflix. I own Netflix now. I'm paying the bank manager with the profits, but I've got older Netflix. And that's what's happened with Manchester United. It's unbelievable. I can't believe how bad a situation it is. We were bought by people who don't support the club, who saw, and I applaud them for the business. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they bought a club that was rich and put it into debt so they could buy it. And then we've had to pay that debt every bloody year since we've owned them. And they've taken dividends out as well, which is profit for them to go in their pocket. It's a disgrace. The reason we haven't bought players like Jadon Sancho and got it done quickly is because of the owners who are just bothered about money. And, people can say, Goldbridge is losing it. I'm not losing it. It's the truth. It's a very frustrating truth that The only reason we're not signing Sancho is because these owners don't want to spend bloody money. And yet, look at what they've done to the club. Sancho deal is like Bruno last summer. They walked away, then they will now. Wouldn't be surprised if we get back in January. The club is a disgrace. If it falls apart, we won't get him. I think it's as simple as that. Akil says, if we accept Bale, we the fans are playing in the Glazers rule. Remember, we went from Maddison's 80 million to Grealish's 70 million to finally settle and be happy with 40 million Van der Beek. And Andrew Zakov says, Glazers haven't won in the US since 2003. Brady is the first time they spent money on anyone. They are penny pinchers. Well, they are what they are. They are what they are. And I understand, I absolutely understand everybody's frustration as a United fan, but I also think it's very important that the frustration is aimed at the right place, and that is the club. And for me, people will start saying, "Wow, we need to do something about it." Well, we don't do anything about it because, unfortunately, Manchester United supporters trust, fan channels, fanzines, they're all against each other. That's what it's always been. We're better than you. We're better than you. We're better than you. Nobody ever comes together. Nothing ever gets done. People have got their fingers in different pies, and they don't want to upset the status quo. So nothing ever gets done. So I don't really have the appetite to do anything about it because it would be literally like banging your head against the brick wall. But look. The problem at the club is the problem at the club. People who work within the club know the problem in the club is the Glazers. They're not. There's some very good people who work at Manchester United Football Club. Probably Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He will know. He said it himself in 2006 that the Glazers were a bad ownership. What's changed? You've got your dream job. There's loads of people in and around that football club who know exactly what the problem is with United, and they're trying to change it from within, with arms tied behind their back. Mark, off topic, if we never had Cristiano and you didn't know that he would be the best player in the world, would you have 20-year-old Ronaldo or 20-year-old Sancho, says Dejan? Mark's hard to answer, isn't it? Because you just said, I don't know how good Ronaldo is, but I'd take Ronaldo. Mark, please check Romano tweets and replies. He said, United won't agree a buyback clause for Reguilon. Is it 12 down in his tweets? And replies, please look back. I'm going to talk about Reguilon in a minute, but thanks for that, Buster Nut. Green Grit says, Sancho aside, our owners are simply not fit to run our club. We need a change. Come on, guys, make some noise. Glazers out. Samindara says, season starts in 4 days and all clubs have their signings. It's not as easy as someone signs today and starts tomorrow. And Sean Turner, Woodward gets all the stick, but it's Matt Judge who deals with the transfers. Both the clowns are out of their depth. I think that's more right. I think that's right, Sean. I think that, there's levels to this. But the club from top to bottom is not well run. It isn't. Whether it's fitness department, coaching, transfers, contracts, the owners at the top, the board. It's not a well-run football club. It's a brilliant football club in name, but it's not run like a brilliant football club, and that's been one of the big problems since 2012. But the big problem with the way we negotiate transfers is we don't have people who are competent at doing it. And then you've got the Glazers who don't want to open the purse strings, so it just makes it very, very difficult. Gareth Bale is trending, just making me madder. He's past it. No way United should be going for him. I still think we get Sancho, says Arme. I would rather have James Rodriguez than Gareth Bale. I would rather have James Rodriguez than Gareth Bale, and we didn't get him. Gareth Bale is not a player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants. We should go nowhere near him. This would be, Ed Wood would go in, I couldn't get you Jadon, so I've got you Gareth Bale. See ya. And Ollie will be like, right, okay, I'm in trouble. Sancho and Thiago in before close. I'm 90% sure. Delo cover right back. Love Bissaka, but if losing, put on Delo as attacking fullbacks is De Gea 10. And Mark, what would it take to get the Glazers off our beloved club? A miracle at this point. Somebody to come in and buy the club who loves it, who's rich enough to do it. Let me talk to you about Reguilon anyway. So we'll have to see with Sancho. I remain confident it's going to happen, but it's just highlighting the frustration of our ownership, really. So Reguilon, I know Flex has spoken about this at lunchtime. Sergio Reguilon or Reguilon or however you pronounce it. Sevilla have bought a left back, so that avenue is closed. Fabrizio Romano has said that he's expecting Manchester United to put a bid in. Real Madrid want 30 million euros and a buyback clause, but Manchester United are not willing to pay that much and they're not willing to take a buyback clause. My cynical approach to this is, and I would love us to get this deal over the line. Everyone knows how much I like Luke Shaw, and I do. But if we get Reguilon or we get Telles, it means Brandon Williams never plays at left back again, which is absolutely great news. And I've got nothing against Brandon Williams, but he should be playing as a deputy right back because he's right-footed. He's not a left back, and it imbalances the back four, and it causes us problems as it did in the Europa League semi-final. So Luke Shaw may well get injured again, and if he gets injured again, Brandon Williams plays left back. So I would rather Luke Shaw have good competition from a good left back. So I would welcome Reguilon, I would welcome Telles. That would be good business. However, the cynic in me has concerns about Reguilon, because I think if we buy him with a buyback clause, there's talk that Real Madrid want him back in 2 years. Well, to me, that's just an expensive loan. There's no. What if Reguilon comes in, starts, does fantastically well for 18 months, and Real Madrid go, yeah, we'll have him back? I don't want to be that club. We're not a feeder club, so I don't want a buyback clause. Not at all. I also worry about why we can't just pay €30 million, because he's worth it. He's like £25 million for Reguilon. He's worth it. So I'm worried about this deal, and the cynic in me thinks this. United are interested, I accept that, but why are we working on Sergio Reguilon when we've got Crystal Palace at the weekend and Luke Shaw's fit? This is a deal that we should be working on in a couple of weeks. We should be working on priority signings like Jadon Sancho. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what is going on with United and who they're negotiating with, but it looks like a bloody mess. The second thing I would say is, what if Real Madrid have seen Sevilla buy a left-back, and we know Real Madrid have touted Reguilon out to lots of clubs, Spurs, Inter, Sevilla, United. United are interested, but what if Real Madrid have seen that Reguilon can't go to Sevilla now because Sevilla have bought a left-back, so they're escalating the United news to try and force United into a bid? I don't think this deal... I don't know what to think about the Sergio Reguilon deal. I want it to happen, but I just don't know if I believe what's in the press, because Sevilla may have got fed up and bought a left back, and if we can't get the buyback clause out and we're not willing to pay the €30 million, this could be a real problem. Either we're going to do a stupid deal with a buyback clause, or Real Madrid aren't going to sell him to us. So we've got a bit of work to do here. We've got to basically say to Real Madrid, there's no buyback clause, and we've also. But what if Reguilon wants to come to England for a couple of years and then go back to Spain? So I don't know. It doesn't fit in with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will not want a player who's coming to United to get first-team football to go back to Madrid in 2 years. That's not what he wants. He wants long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. Isn't this what happened last summer with Bruno, says Tigran? No, I've always said that the Sancho saga is very different to the Bruno saga, because the Sancho saga has been played out through the press. We know we've been negotiating. We know a deal is close. We know personal terms are done. That was never put out there about Bruno. You know, you never had Fabrizio Romano saying that we were talking to Bruno. You never had people saying that personal terms had been done and conversations were ongoing. It was very much only the Portuguese press was saying that. So there's way more truth in this than last year publicly. Welcome to football, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thank you for joining, mate. And thanks for everyone who is joining as a member, by the way. Thanks for your support. Really, really appreciate that. And you get your badge next to your name, of course. It does have echoes of Jose last summer, I agree. It does, but I don't... Look, everyone's going to make their own mind up about this. I think the main thing is to be very frustrated about the situation that we have at the moment. It's a frustrating situation, and to me, it totally sits with the... It totally... It totally exposes the owners as the problem. But it also goes back to what I said before, that the big issue at Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt, is the fact that regardless of what's happening, and I do put my cynical hat on again here, we're moaning this morning about we've got Palace on Saturday and that this transfer window has not been done very well. And today we're close to Reguilon. Oh, the Sancho deal's in trouble. I don't think United have briefed. I'm not saying United have briefed, but James Cooper did say he'd spoken to somebody at the club this morning. So is that not a briefing? It just feels like the briefing, if there is a briefing today, is to lower expectations for United fans, again, as it has been for the last 8 years, and to potentially get excited about a backup or a new left back, however you want to perceive it. But you know what? The sad thing about Reguilon is he's a good player and he will definitely provide us competition at left back, which I think is important. But did any of us go into this summer with a left back as a priority? We went into the summer with needing a right winger, a centre midfielder and a centre back. So even if Reguilon happens before Saturday, that doesn't solve the problems of last season. We've solved one. We've got Van der Beek. You know, where's the right winger? Where's the centre back? You know, we're not prepped for this season. It's been another, to me, it's been another expose of of the problems at Manchester United from top to bottom. And I'm tired of it. It makes me want to cry inside. I'm tired of it. It makes me really, really frustrated, really, really angry that yet another summer we're sat there with all the hope draining out, absolutely tired of the prats we've got within that football club. And I hate to say that term, but it's true because it happens every year. We've got owners who don't want to spend money, they just want to take money out. We've got people doing transfers who just belong in a bank. And again, the manager's been let down. Like, we're so bad at transfers. Look, you know, the thing is, even if nobody else had done any business, we'd still be saying we're bad at transfers. But look at what Chelsea have done this summer. Look at the speed, efficiency and planning. Multiple transfers. Bap, 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 bap. You know, just organised every 3 days. Bap, 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 bap. Working on multiple deals. And people say, well, it's because they've got a rich owner. Their net spend is actually around £130 million. Like, it's not about being a rich owner. It's about removal of players, recruitment of players, and efficiency. And it absolutely has bantered us all the way back, like every summer. And it's so disappointing. It's so tiring for Manchester United fans every year to be let down. We're being, you know, we are the greatest club in the world as far as I'm concerned, but we're run like a League One club. We're so amateur. We're so amateur. Any updates on Romero's future? I think he should leave United because he's a very good goalkeeper and needs to start more games, says Rahul. No, I thought he was going to Villa, but they've bought Martinez. Jordan Surge, look at Chelsea, look at Everton. It's amazing what can happen when you get players in for the start of the season. Everton hadn't been beaten at a top 6 team away for home in 40 games. Then they go and beat Spurs. And win. Charles Crane says, my friend supports United and their NFL team says it's the same with both. They suck money out of the club and have little ambition to win. I wonder if they will ever change. They need to be got out of the club. You know, and that's a very easy statement, but they need to be got out of the club. But this has been the case since they bought the club. So, you know, how you do that, I don't know. But they need to be out of the club. They are killing this football club. And I always go back to, imagine if Manchester United were allowed to be run the way we are. We are a very, very successful business and we make a lot of money. Unfortunately, we've got people who bought us on debt, keep us in debt and take the money out of the club. We're just being sucked dry by them and I don't see a solution. I'm honestly gutted about Sancho. Did you see the tweet about the Glazers taking 89 million from us, says James? We've been talking about it, James, yeah. 89 million in the last 5 years they've taken. Sign Sancho like now, please, says Vinit. And when Barca offer United Coutinho, we reject. If was in these days with the massive Sancho, you think would be a good signing, says Gabriel. I think it makes a difference if Sancho plays tonight. Bruno wasn't a £100 million player, so I don't understand why United would risk him playing tonight, says Simon Cooper. I think Sancho will play tonight, Simon. To me, I don't think it kills the deal, but I think he will play tonight. I'm so frustrated and tired about this. Why can't we have at least decent owners and not leechers, says Ninand. And some serious trolling coming from the Borussia, James Kidd, other Borussia Dortmund fans and rivals once this deal is off. God help us, United fans, says Darth Maul, deserve better. But you know that. You know, look, worst case scenario, imagine this deal didn't happen. Obviously, I'm going to have to take a lot of stick. You know, we will have to take a lot of stick as a fan base. But I tell you what, I won't care. I'm still in the 90% club always. Nothing's happened to the 90% club. But if this deal doesn't happen, I don't care what people say. I don't care about the banter. I don't care about Dortmund fans, Arsenal fans. I don't care. Because it's like when you get beat by Arsenal or you lose to City or you lose to Liverpool. You have very little time to be bantered because you're so furious and angry with the people that matter. And if this doesn't happen, I will just be furious and angry with the owners of the football club. And that's where I will aim my frustration. I don't need to soak up being bantered because I'll be already too angry and frustrated and lashing out at the people who've ruined this football club. So if it doesn't happen, I'm not fearful of being bantered or anything like that because I don't think people understand the reaction that's going to happen if we don't do this deal. So, you know, but I'm still confident we'll get it done. Please smash a like on the video anyway. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. That's the update with the situation as to where we are at the moment. Thanks everyone who's become a member, by the way. Of course, we'll be back a little bit later on with the evening show. And let's see what happens in the next sort of few hours with Regulion. There is some people thinking that there may be an offer coming in. I won't hold my breath. But even if I do hold my breath, why are we buying a left back 4 days before our first game of the season? I don't mind us buying Regulion. But is he an urgent signing that we need to do before the weekend, or is he a signing to make the fans make us go ooh, and then we'll get Gareth Bale? Ooh, sod off. Get the proper deal done. I pray Ortega family buys United. That was a joke, Anshaman. Never gonna happen. Any news on Brooks to United? Might be a better deal than Sancho, to be honest. Good. You're hilarious, Dave Jr. I think you should take up stand up. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.